Google changes their algorithm over 3000 times a year. It's more than 8 times a day. We don't know what works and what doesn't work. The best way is to learn expert opinions because the impact and influence of any algorithm is different for different topics. In this video, I'll share with you a bunch of expert opinions that I found online. Stay tuned, the best part is coming. What's up guys, Anatoly is here. Before watching this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. And click the notification tag, because you will know about new videos on this channel. I want to start from article that was published on Search Engine Journal blog. It's a famous blog, I like it. I usually check news on this blog. Of course, I check Surround Table and Search Engine Land and many other blogs, but on this blog I like the breaking news, the design. It's interesting, a lot of opinions there. And on this video I want to share one article that was published about 10 important 2020 SEO trends you need to know. The author of this article, Danny Goodwin, and and he starts from trend number 1, BERT and user-focused optimization. BERT has changed the rules on search engine mechanism, because this new algorithm impacts 10% of all searchers, and today it's more important to satisfy user intent than to optimize with keywords. I think in future keyword searching will not important like in the past before search mechanism, because people usually want to get content that satisfies their intent, and Google understands more and more without any keywords what people want to get. And even today you need to pay more attention with topics, not with keywords. And in this article you can read different opinions from Frederick Dubot, Jen Matthews, Dune Forrester, and many others, and they share their opinion that you need to focus your attention with your customers to satisfy their intent. And because for example 10 years ago when I started SEO, I paid only attention with keywords, how to optimize page with keywords. Today I usually optimize only my title and description, because people don't click without reading the title and description, and if you don't have any keywords there, people might skip your website. It's important, of course, to use keywords on title and description, and after this, if you feel that you need to add some keywords on the page, you can do it, but do it for human, not for robots. Forget about robots, and just think how you can satisfy the user intent. The second trend, high quality optimized content. Yep, it's important today to have better content than your competitors have, to make technical optimization, to have unique design. You can check my blog. I don't copy others, I just adapt their ideas with my content preferences. It's important, it's important to skip buying some templates or pay for poor design. You don't need to do it. If you want to promote a website in 2020, it's important to optimize with to have some unique and stand out of the rest. And we see a lot of opinions. Anna Crow, for example, assistant editor, Search Engine Journal, said there is one thing that has been and will continue to be the lifeblood of SEO: content. Content is important, content is king. Content affects everything in SEO, from your site structure and internal linking strategy to the types of links you build. It's important to have better content. I usually use one strategy from Brian Dean. It's better to find articles and content online with poor quality, and to create something better in these topics. If you see especially that these pages can generate a lot of traffic, and after this you create something better and promote it, because the biggest mistake of many website owners, they try to cover topics where a lot of other high quality content. Why you need to compete with big brands and many other websites? Just find something new, because 15% of new keywords appeal every single day. Yep, okay, we can go ahead. We see a lot of opinions here on this article, and trend number 3, it, your unfair advantage. If you don't know what it means, it's expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. Google uses this parameter to understand how authoritative your content, people trust your content or not. And if you want to optimize your website with parameter it, what you need to do, the first step, you need to have the level of trust. People might visit some pages on your website about company, policy, service, refund policy, many other pages, contact page. Create these pages and give the level of trust that your company exists. And because people, if they see that on the page about us they don't have photos, don't have names, physical address, people might skip this website because they don't believe. And it's better to optimize these pages. You can open my website, for example, to check a page about me and many other websites. You can see that people use a lot of photos, team photos, own private photos, because people want to cooperate with people, not with ghosts. It's important about authority. It's important to earn authoritative links from authoritative websites, because today spam don't work, don't give any results. Even worse, Google might penalize websites that use PBN and many other spam methods. It's better to avoid these old techniques and to earn backlinks from authoritative websites. It's not simple, but if you create high quality and linkable content, use outreach methods to gather these links. Okay, expertise. About expertise, just add some information about yourself, your achievements, what kind of certificates you have. Add this information to your website, because people want to cooperate with expertise, not with people who might be beginners and stuff like this. Just highlight these points and work with social networks. For example, I'm active on Twitter and LinkedIn because I know that there are a lot of my clients, and what you need to do to choose your social network and promote your content, publish a lot, be consistent in that way, and after this you will show the level of trust, because 70% of customers, they usually check social media before deciding to buy from any website. Okay, go ahead. We see trend number 4, user experience and technical SEO. What you need to do to use Google Analytics to understand user experience, you need to see how long people stay on your pages. And for example, on the top 10, people usually spend more than 3 minutes and 10 seconds. It's according to study done by Search Engine Land. And what you need to do to keep visitors on your website, if you can provide some interesting information, awesome information, people spend time on your website, and it helps to promote your website. Sometimes you don't need to keep them if you want to give some short answer. People, some keywords and some questions, people don't need to get a lot of information. Just give them what they want, because Google learns other parameters like dwell time. For example, if people open your website and spend some time there, like 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and they didn't find suitable information, they go to search system to find another content. It's not good, and after this Google will decrease your website. What you need to do to satisfy their intent, give them the best information what you can do, and for this purpose it's important to use some interlinking, some suitable structure on your website. And technical SEO, it's important for, many websites use some third-party tools like Screaming Frog, many other tools online, even SEMrush, Ahrefs provide the same tools, but I think you don't need to do it. Just open Google Search Console, it's free tool, and what you need to do to fix errors from Google Search Console and open PageSpeed Insights, and after this fix pages with errors. And it's important that we have some WordPress plugins for Google PageSpeed Insights. Just open this plugin and on the WordPress WordPress and fix all these errors. If you don't have it, just check manually. And it helps to promote your website because site speed is a ranking factor. It's not only about Google, it's more about your customers, because if people don't wait when your page is loading, it helps to increase your conversion rate, because for each second you might lose around 20% of conversion rates. Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, trend number 5, mobile SEO. I think, today even we don't need to discuss this topic. It's important to have mobile version of your website, and what is important here, that you need to create a design for mobile version of your website and adapt this design with the top version, because designers usually do it vice versa. They create design for desktop version and after this adapt for mobile version. But you need to understand that more than 70%, even 80% of all traffic from mobile search. And what we need to do, create design firstly for mobile version of your website. And what you need to do, just to speak with your designers and to check existing pages, and if you create new pages, at first check your mobile version. Yep, it's important. Okay, trend number 6, structured data. What you need to do, you just use schema.org. It's famous website. You can take their code and use on your website. A lot of plugins for WordPress. If you have some own platform, you can use schema.org, open this website and use their code and add to your website. Even in Google Search Console you can add schema. It's important because it helps Google to understand what your content means. Today Google understands a lot of our content, but if you have some structure, and schema.org increases the traffic and organic reach in Google plus 30%. Yep, it's important today, and yeah, it's trend number 6. Trend number 7, entity and knowledge graph optimization. I think it's important today because you can increase plus 20% of all your clicks if you optimize your website with knowledge graph and entity. It's important, and what we can see here, Bill Slawski said Google is finding ways to include entity-related information in search results through things such as augmentation queries. You can optimize entities that your site is about by doing things such as optimization, those for Google's keyword graph, and making sure that they appear in knowledge graph. I think it's important today, to optimize your content with feature snippet, with knowledge graph, and get additional traffic. Yep, it's a trend. Trend number 8, link building and brand building. Today it's important to earn links. You don't need to get a lot of backlinks. It's better to create high quality and relevant backlinks. It depends on your niche. For example, for local SEO, it's important more get links from websites from your location, but for international SEO, what you need to do to create some high quality backlinks. And I usually provide for my clients different type of outreach for their blogs and get links there. And what you need to do, don't try to buy links today, just try to earn them. It's important with white-hatted SEO. And what we see here, different editorial plans, what you need to do to create different type of content that earn links. Okay, trend number 9, focus on visibility, not just blue links. It's important how your website looks. If it looks professionally, people might trust your website more, and the chance that they will pay money increases a lot. And what you need to do, just check how visibility of your website. It's important, yep, just to check the design. Trend number 10, programming. It's like with site speed. If your website works perfectly fine, there are not any errors, why not? It gives additional reason for Google to promote your website. For example, I use WordPress all the time. I have a lot of errors, and in my team we have 2 web developers and they optimize my website full time, but I don't know where all these errors appeal, but what you need to do to control. For example, I have some bug testing on my website. We usually check 1 time a week, different type of problems that we can find. For example, if you don't have some bug testing, you can lose the time when your website have some errors. Just check regularly. I usually do it 1 time a week. You can do it even 1 time a month. Yeah, it depends. Good article, many opinions here. We see the list of these opinions and we go ahead to the next article. This article was published on Cardinal Digital Marketing blog. 12 SEO trends for 2020 that you need to know. Okay, the author of this article, Alex Membrillo. I hope I pronounced correctly his name. And the first trend: snippets dominate more search clicks. Of course, it's important if you want to get additional traffic from feature snippet. What you need to do to rank your website on the top 10, because the 99% of all searches from feature snippet Google takes from the top 10. And yep, for example, if you have some ranking positions on the top 10, just check content and optimize for feature snippets. After this, when you optimize this content, give Google some time to re-index, and Google might show your content if you have useful feature snippets, and optimize other pages of your website. And for example, I usually use the examples of HubSpot, because this website gains a lot of traffic from feature snippets. And what we can see here, that searchers with feature snippet get more traffic than without feature snippets. Okay, influencers should be leveraged for SEO. On my Twitter, I shared a few times that influence marketing is one of the most difficult, and some experts even told it's the most difficult marketing techniques, because it's difficult to find influencers, to cooperate with them, to agree suitable price conditions, but it works a lot. And what you need to do is just try to find influencers in your niche. Don't try to cooperate with Cristiano Ronaldo or Kim Kardashian. Find influencers in your niche, because their audience is more related with your audience. And I usually try to find influencers from 10,000 that have 10,000 followers to 100,000 followers, and because the price is more suitable for these influencers and you get the best traffic. Sometimes even you can send them your products and get their reviews and stuff like this. Yep, just learn about influence marketing more. Trend number 3: secure websites are must. I think I even can put this trend to the number 1 position, because my website was hacked a few times, and after this we lost a lot of traffic, and it took some time to recover all this traffic on Google. And today I usually use paid antivirus, and we usually check many different gaps that we can have on our websites, change all the time our passwords, and according to statistics, 30% of all websites online are hacked. And it's not only me, many other websites, my clients, that have the same problems. Sometimes you can find this that your website is hacked. For example, Google Search Console didn't show me, my antivirus didn't show me. I only found this mistake on Ahrefs, that my website links to many strange pages in Japanese or Chinese language, and after this we got it that we hacked and we lost a lot of traffic. Just pay for paid antivirus, and you will be more safe. It's important. And what we see here, the offer relates more to HTTPS. I think today You can set up HTTPS even for WordPress. We have some free versions. I usually pay for some versions because it's better certificate. I don't know exactly what is the difference, but I can tell that if you have paid version, it secures and protects more. I don't know what is exact difference, but that's okay. You can use free version as well. Okay. Number 4, websites optimized for voice search. You know, in 2020, 50% of all searches will be voice search, and today it's popular. People use voice search to find their keywords. It's more conversational form, and what you need to do, you know, sometimes even if you write some blog posts, you can record your voice and retype your in your blog post. It will be conversational form because voice search is different with classical form. For example, if you want to order SEO service, you can type SEO service or SEO agency. But if you in voice search, you can use where to find SEO agency or which SEO agency is better. Just consider this, that people will use more and more voice search, and you need to have conversational form. Okay, we can go ahead. Trend number 5, mobile user experience will determine your rankings. Of course, because Google divided mobile ranking and desktop ranking, and if you have a poor version of mobile version, people will skip your website and Google will not rank this website. It's important to optimize your website with mobile search and analyze user experience. It's better to open some of your competitors on the top 10, and after this to check their mobile version and think your content is better, and analyze different parameters like do you hide content or not, because you know desktop version might be different with mobile version. I usually don't try to hide any content. Even I don't use hamburger forms because Google told that it's okay to use hamburger forms, but some studies show different way that Google will not rank this hiding form. It depends, you know. Okay. Trend number 6, videos as a source of information. I think you understand why I record videos for my YouTube channel. I like to record videos. Of course, I know that I need to improve because English is not my first language, but that's okay. You know, I just continue develop my videos, and you know, if I can record videos, you can do it, because videos today video is growing and people use more YouTube, and even in close time, I don't remember the exact number, but 82%, yes, 82% of all online traffic will be video in 2022. It's important today to record videos, because even if we estimate the difference between SEO and YouTube, we will see that in SEO 1.7 billion websites, but for YouTube 23 million YouTube channels, the difference over 70 times. Yeah, just record videos, share your video on Instagram, many different platforms, not only for YouTube, and you will get more traffic. Even TikTok today is a trend. Okay, trend number 7, CTR and dwell time will become important ranking factors. Google many times denies that CTR and dwell time are ranking factors, especially about CTR. But you know, if people don't click your website on the top 10, why Google need to show your website? Because perhaps it's not relevant with keywords. And what you need to do to use some different techniques to improve CTR, because at first step, think about traffic, not about your ranking position, because ranking position doesn't sell our products, only traffic. And what you need to do to use numbers, symbols, brackets, give the reason to open your website, use some benefits on your website. Yep, it's important today to improve CTR. Okay, tip number 8, high quality content is more important than ever. I think I don't want to argue with this trend. Of course, content is a king, and we discussed a few times about content, but I see here some statistics that 91% of total ad spend is viewed for less than a second. This led to a $38 billion in digital ad spend wasted in 2017. That means if people click to your website and skip it because of your content, yeah, you lose a lot of money. It's important, for example, for my website, I usually use landing pages that are different with blog posts, with other pages. And I know, for example, HubSpot uses more than 200 different landing pages because all these pages are customized with different customers for millennials, other generations. Yep, it's important to consider them. Okay, and trend number 9, users demand excellent digital experience. Yeah, we discussed a few times about experience. I don't want to touch this topic one more time, just to learn your customer journey and understand what type of experience they have on your website. Okay, tip number 10, content length matters. Yep, even SEMrush, Brian Dean, many other studies show that the length content ranks much better than short content, and we see again the same results that you need to reply a lot more questions on your content that at that point you can rank much better. It doesn't mean that you need to create only long articles, because if user intent not to read the long articles, yeah, at that point you don't need to create that one. But you need to understand that at average long content ranks much better. Okay, tip number 11, artificial intelligence in the new norm. You know, many companies, many brands invest money to artificial intelligence because it helps to get more traffic, to improve user experience, and they learn customization, especially for paid ads. What you need to do if you have money, for example, in my small agency, I don't know how you can develop artificial intelligence, but it depends on the topic, because even small businesses today invest money with to artificial intelligence. Okay, tip number 12, use of other search engines. Yeah, you can use the Go, Bing, and Yahoo, many other search engines. I think it depends, but I usually optimize website for Google. I don't touch them. If it ranks good in Google, that means it will rank everywhere. It will rank everywhere. Okay, we can go ahead. I like Databox. This article was published here, Marketing Trends in 2020. Here is where 96 experts will devote time and budget next year. The author Chiara Beaumonte. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name correctly, because yeah, I'm terrible with name pronunciation. Okay, what we can see here, many different platforms. What you need to do, it's important today to use omni-channel approach, because we remember many times when Facebook almost killed organic reach, when Google changes many times their algorithms, and other channels can devote many websites. For example, I read some article about one guy, and you know, he promoted his Instagram account many years. He got more than 1 million followers, and Instagram decided to change the policy and to ban accounts with memes. And after this, he lost a lot of money, and his account, because this account was blocked, he spent a lot of time. What it's important today to use omni-channel. Don't use only one channel. For example, I promote my content on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on YouTube. I promote my website, and yep, it's important to use many different platforms, because platforms can change their policy, because at first they think about their business, not about businesses of their users. Okay, what we can see here, the content marketing in the first place, of course. Because I think we don't have any different type of marketing that works like content marketing. The second one, video marketing. If you don't invest money to record videos, just look me. I'm not English speaker, but I record videos and I gain followers. I gain results from my videos. You can use the same techniques. Just start it. It's important. For example, if you don't feel confident against camera, what you need to do is just record a lot of videos, and I will promise you that in a few months you will love your camera. Okay, we see here social media marketing in the first place, SEO, advertising, influence marketing, email marketing, other. We see that different marketers use different techniques, and there are a lot of opinions here. You can read this article because I usually read all articles from DataBox because I like these opinions from these people. I don't know how DataBox gained all these opinions. Perhaps they outreach all these people, they reply them with their answers. I don't know, but it's useful, valuable information. What we see here, more investment is underutilized social media channels, for example, like TikTok. But I don't think that TikTok is underutilized because there are 500 million people, and many of them content creators, and it's not simple to create content there and rank, but it's much simpler than in other social media networks. And in the first place, I see here LinkedIn. I usually promote on my LinkedIn account as well. And it's interesting because I started my promotion on LinkedIn in May 2019. In 5 months, I got a few subscribers. But in October, when I read a lot of information about LinkedIn promotion, today I usually gain more than 2,000 followers each month. I have for 2 months over 4,000 followers. And I like LinkedIn because many good leads here, and you don't need to pay for their crazy cost money paid advertisement. You can reach all of them organically. And the second place, Facebook, because many people are there. Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, Snapchat. You can learn here many opinions. Return to direct mail, real-time micro content, broader adoption of influence marketing. You can read all these interesting headlines here, sub-headlines, optimizing the content machine. Okay, go ahead. Growth of connected TV, more brands starting podcasts. I think I'm going to start my podcast in 2020 because with podcasts you can gain more followers to create brand awareness, and podcasts today are effective way. If you want to start your podcast, do it today because in future it will be more competitive than today. Okay. Many different information here, and we can go to Brian Dean article, SEO this year. I think many of you read this article. Just want to highlight some points. Domain authority 2.0, and it's interesting because Brian Dean highlights that new domain authority is related with the parameter IT, expertise, assertiveness, and trustworthiness. We discussed about this parameter. I recommend you to read this article. And it's about visual search, video continues to search, voice search optimization, optimized for feature snippets, master search intent, combat decreasing CTRs, backlinks are still key, quick SEO tips for 2020. We can check these quick tips. What we can see here, publish research content, create visual content, especially concept visuals, encourage comments in community. It's like this. We learned these techniques from other articles, and that's it for today. Ask questions on the comment section. I will reply to all your questions. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, and see you next time. Cheers!